before I finished the live stream last time, I was struggling to get the grid right. And as you can see now, like this is not ideal, but I think it's not worth wasting more time on it. So it actually is responsive now, and also like for the most part looks pretty good. Yeah, I created a PR for this, a pull request, and already passed the CI here. I can quickly walk you through the changes. So let's see, here you can select the commits that you want to look at, and I guess I worked on these commits here. So there are a few like minor things, but yeah, the most important part is this here. I use display grid, the CSS grid, and then this was actually the key here, grid template columns, and then repeat auto fit, and then min max 300 pixel and 1 FR. So basically either this expands to like one fraction of the screen, or at least it's 300 pixel wide. So you can see this actually. This is 1 FR now, and then at some point on mobile, you will see that it like here the minimum width is 300 pixel, and there it stays. So like the lines don't break here. Yeah, so actually quite easy solution, but I'm not super proficient with a CSS grid. So yeah, now it works fine, luckily. I also did a few more, like here some cleanup and stuff like this. Yeah. And today, before I started, I actually wanted to start with another user story, but I realized that I didn't write Cypress tests for this story yet. So I'd like to continue with that. This is a bit more interesting. Like I can show you that let's see, I can run Cypress. I already created some Cypress tests for this sidebar navigation here. So these tests basically check that this is collapsible, and also the mobile design. So we can run them here. But this time we have an API call involved. So this will be a bit more interesting. Let's see. So Chrome is still starting. Yeah. Maybe I can clean up here some things already. So here's the Cypress folder. And now you can see the tests are starting. I said this in another video, but Cypress is a really nice solution for testing, especially end-to-end tests, but also integration tests. The main advantage from my perspective, especially for beginners, is that you have a really nice debugging capabilities here. So as you can see, the application renders here. So you can actually also inspect things once the tool's open here. So you can really debug this. You can check console log statements. You can step through the test, like you can see everything. Here it selects the issues link, and then clicks on it. So it's really easy to debug. And even though I guess most tests are written with React testing library, this is much easier to get started with. Yeah, so let's start by writing the next test suite. So I already opened the Cypress folder here, and here's the integration folder. So the next one is project list.spec.ts. See. Yeah. Now let me check. I'm not so much. So this is much easier now. Okay, I guess we still have this problem with we need this anti-export. Project list. Okay, so now before each test, this visits localhost 3000. This is the main page, the projects page here. And then I'm not sure if we need that, but we will check in desktop resolution. Yeah, and now let's see. We want to test. Let's write a very simple test at first, and I guess we use it. So here it renders the projects. And now we can use the React or testing library API, so we can actually do this. So as you can see, it's much easier when you can just look up things from other tests. Find by text, let's say, and then front end web. I guess we can. So we have some tests already here somewhere. We check that. So we can, I guess, just write should exist. And now for to make this a bit quicker, I use the .only function here. This way, actually, I just run one test file anyway, so this is useless here. But if we had multiple tests here, I could just do it only, and then it would only run this one test. So here it doesn't matter. So this works fine, as you can see. So this gets the text and it is there, yeah. So obviously this doesn't really test that all the data is there, but only that the first item, the first project is rendered. But it's enough for the first test, I guess. Now what you can see is that here it renders, it runs a real API request. So let's see, DOM snapshot. Let me see how. I guess we can use the dev tools here. Yeah, here you can see. I'm not sure. Here you can see that the API call was really sent to my applications API. And this is of course fine. This would be called an end-to-end test, where we test the whole system, like the front end, and really sending the request to the server, and like depending on what kind of architecture you have, there might be multiple microservices involved and database calls and stuff like this. So end-to-end test the whole system, but this also has one requirement. We need a test environment basically where we can we have replicable data. So basically we want to write a test that checks that all projects are rendered. So we need to know what kind of projects there are. So we would have to have a server that has reliable data that doesn't change during from one test run to the other. And another disadvantage of this is, of course, that the API requests take time. So if you have a lot of tests, the test suite will really take forever to run. We can also alternatively write integration tests. And integration tests means that we basically remove this this real API call and replace it by mock call. So we stop the request. And this would be called an integration test because then we only test like part of the system, which is the front end. And yeah, so this is much easier so we can get reliable data because we mock the responses, and we also have faster running tests because the requests are not really sent to the server. Cypress provides us some functionality for this. Here in the documentation, we have the network requests docs. And yeah, they go a bit into details about this, like use server responses. This is basically what I said, end-to-end tests. They also go into the downsides here. And then we can stop responses. This would mean that we, as I said, that we have integration tests. And this is actually quite easy, so hopefully. We can use the intercept function and then basically just tell the what URL and the get response or post request method. And then we can also add fixtures, so our mock data. Yeah, this should be pretty simple to set up. Let's check. So here's the API. So let's quickly get this. So here's the data with the raw data. And now in the fixtures folder, we can projects.json. So this is formatted. I will remove this. So it's automatically generated for some reason. Okay, so we have our mock data, and then let me copy paste this. And here, so the API URL, can get it here again. I hope this works like this. And then fixture is projects.json. So let's see. And you can see this was much faster. Let's uncomment this again. So now you see how this was actually also quite fast, but yeah. Anyway, so let's see if we have a real request here. Actually, it still looks like we have the request. So front-end web test. Let's see. So now I changed the test data, the mock data, and if this intercept works, we should see a different string here. So obviously this doesn't work yet. Let's quickly check. So one difference is, of course, that this is going to the local host, I guess. Maybe I need to restart this Cypress test. Let's try that. Yeah, otherwise I have to do some debugging here. And as you can see, I expected this to be very simple, but maybe it isn't. Let's see. Okay. This doesn't seem to be responsive at the moment. I wonder why. Okay. So let's run this again, but it still looks like the API call is really sent out. Yeah, so here it is. And you can still see front-end web here. And now it's actually updated. It's interesting. Disable cache. So I'm a bit surprised now. So let's clear this again, run the test again, and then check the results here. Okay, so here this actually seems to work, and here it doesn't. That's very interesting. And then again, so I guess this last API call was run by React Query because I focused the window. So, but I don't really understand why this is not mocked. It's very interesting. And if I so maybe I'm missing something. I haven't worked with Cypress for a longer time, so So let's see. Here you can see only one request. I'm not sure if Cypress is sending requests in the background or something, but that would be a bit strange. Okay. So here again, this, and now when I focus the window, it sends the request, but this time it's mocked. So maybe actually this is the wrong place. So let's check this. Okay, yeah, this looks okay. I guess I can explain what happened. When I move this here, the intercept call, then the tests already visit the page, and this intercept call, like the definition here, this actually comes too late. So the request has already been sent, and only then I tell Cypress to stop this request. So when we move this up here, now it actually works, and the request is stopped from the beginning. So now we write this, then it should work again. Okay, perfect. Yeah. That was a interesting mistake here. So now, as you can see, we get mock responses. So this is really nice. We have saved test data now, reliable test data. Now the next step would be to check that actually all the projects are rendered here. And the current problem that we have is how to get the elements. So it would be nice if we could check, like here in the main container, we have like 3 cards, and each card contains like the correct the correct product name, the correct language here, and then like all this data should be correct here. Yes, so there are different ways to do this. One would be to like use class names, but since we use style components, we have randomly generated class names, so it's we can't really tell. Yeah, we don't know the class name upfront. Another possibility would be to use test IDs. So we could just assign a test ID to each of these project cards. This would, in theory, work as well, but it's actually not so nice to just add like this kind of IDs to only to make some tests pass. If we have another possibility, and currently, since I use divs here as the first implementation, it's pretty hard to get them by the tags, basically. But if we migrate it to a list here, like a UL tag and then list tags here, then we could basically say, get me the main tag then get me the list items inside, or UL and list items, and then inside, like, iterate over each of these list items and check if it contains the right data. Yeah, so first thing I will do here is to refactor the mockup quickly. Let's see. So we have, I guess actually it's here, components, so project list. So this is the container. So rename it to list, or list container, and it's let's call this. And now let's check the project card. And the project card, actually maybe I should just quickly do that. So in theory, the project card could also be used by another page where it's not rendered in a list. So maybe it's smartest to actually let the project list wrap the project card into a list item. And now you can see that we have this like few style changes, list item. Let's get rid of those. And then this actually, let's check. So there's some padding, and I guess the padding is like default padding. Padding and margin. So reset the margin. Okay, now it actually looks already quite good. So I guess we can leave this. Okay, and now we could find by role, I guess. See. So now we should get the main wrapper. The problem is that, let me show you, we also have a list here. So if we just would try to get the role list, then we would get this first and then this list here. So first I will get the main content. So this doesn't include the navigation. And then I can get the list and then the list items. I'm not sure if I can chain this. Find by actually list item. So let's check what happens then. Okay, you can see this is actually exactly what I wanted. And now I would like to iterate over, can we do for each or something? Not sure. Okay, so let's check that. Each. And then we can so we have the element. Now element contains so this clearly we had something similar here, I guess. Okay. So what I would like to do now is to check if this list item, like each list item also contains the correct data. And I'm not sure how to do that at the moment. So this is a jQuery element. I haven't worked with jQuery in ages. So I'm not sure if we can check. Okay, here's actually, so this is probably what I'm looking for. So just randomly found the solution, I guess. Element. And then contains front end. This text here. Let's see. So let's check this one here. So this is the first item. Yeah, okay. So the first iteration passed actually, and then the second one obviously doesn't contain this front-end web test. So now we should probably get, which should import projects fixtures projects to JSON, and then we can actually index. So we get the index here, index, and then dot name. So now the test should pass again, and yes, it does. So here it gets backend, and here ML service. Okay. And then we can also add tests for the language, but language, I guess it's lowercase, so we will need to capitalize this. Actually, so our project list, the project card. This one here. So I'm not sure if I should export this and then import this in the text test. But let me first continue with the issues. This one here. Then we have the status. Okay, and then basically I just didn't test the language here. Let me hardcode this. Guess this is actually smarter. So let's see, does it work now? Yeah, I'm not super sure if this is like the best approach to hardcode this here, but in the end, so if something went wrong here, and let's say this we didn't have a match here, so we would get undefined or nothing rendered here. So something strange might happen here as well. So we would check that this element contains undefined, for example. I'm not sure what happens then. But if something would go wrong now, it would be immediately clear that this is not the expected data. So yeah, I guess this should be fine. And finally, I will remove this one here and also change the fixture to, actually this is fine, I guess. So we're always sure that we also have the stopped response here. Yeah, so this is actually I guess enough for this one here. We also have the view issues link. Let's see, that should also, we have a test for a link here already, so somewhere, I guess. So here we click the link actually. So the last test could be CI wrap. Let's clean this up first. List item, project card. Okay. And then list item, find by role. And then let's check. I want to see that it has the right href. Cypress test href. Okay, so we can basically should have attribute href, and then I guess for now this is issues. Let's see. Okay, that's interesting. So contains front end. So basically, I guess this one here doesn't work. Okay. So let's see. So not have, oh, should. So I guess that was the problem. Okay, perfect. Yeah, in a later task, I guess this will be left for the React job simulator that I'm building. So this may be up to you. we will change the view issues link to point to view issues, and then something like query parameter and the project ID. And so this might be your first touching point with a Cypress test here. But yeah, for now, this looks pretty decent, I would say. So let's create a few commits here. You can also see that this is still pretty bare bones loading screen and error screen. I will also, there's a loading screen now. I will also leave this up to the React job simulator, so you can implement this. Pretty easy task, but I guess like it's a good thing for onboarding on the project. So let me create a commit here. Refactors project list to use list element. Maybe not the best thing here, and then add Cypress test for project. Okay, cool. Yeah, I guess this is it now. Let's close Cypress here. So we're almost approaching 1 hour here. So the continuous integration pipeline is running again. Now it will also check or run the new Cypress tests. So let's hope that everything is fine here. Close these. And then let's check the board. So so this is in review exactly. And now I have a few more tasks here. I would like to start with the issue list. User story. I'm not sure if it makes sense to start with it now, to be honest. I can show you the design at least. So at least we have a cliffhanger for tomorrow. Yeah, actually this shouldn't be too hard. Let's see. So the first task is to create the issue row. So we would simply create a component for this. I guess it doesn't include the graph here because this has a, see, create graph here. This has a separate task. And the checkbox is also not included here because like this is its own user story. So this would only be this here and then this. So yeah, this should be fairly simple, I would say. The most complicated thing here is probably that the desktop design here, it's a table, and on mobile it has this kind of card design. So this is quite different. So I was thinking of using CSS grid again. So we can basically say like separate this into yeah, a grid basically. So this is the first grid, I don't know what is it called, field, and then these are also separate. So these would be actually aligned here like a table, but on mobile we could just switch the places. Then we wouldn't have the table design, but rather something like this. I think this should be fine actually. This should work fine. Yeah, let's check the project list again. So the PR passed. We had a quick look at the file changes already, so let's just get this merged now. Yeah. Okay, perfect. So again, squash merging, I mentioned that a couple of times already, but you saw here's a link to the PR. So here you see the number of commits, 12 in total, and here we only have one, so this is a squashed commit. That makes the commit history in the main branch, yeah, a bit cleaner. Okay, then I would say I quickly start with this. I'm not sure how far I'll get. Project list. So this is done. Project list, I'm not sure if this, let's see, maybe the story is also done. Yes, I guess this can also be moved to done. Cool. So we finished our first user story. Now let's go to our code again. So first I have to check out the main branch. You can see that it's behind the origin main. Now this file exists again. And we can continue working on the new branch. So should maybe call it check out -b. So I want to check out the new branch. Issues page, and then issue row. Okay. And now basically I would start. I think we can call this issue so I will create an issue list folder and then issue row. Or actually, I'm not sure if we should call this row or card. Yeah. Let's call it row for now. And then create my functional component, issue row. So, and now let's return a div for now for testing purposes. And again, I would like to have a story. I'm lazy, so I just copy paste. it's actually smart not to copy paste too much if you're a beginner. Whatever. So the public API, I always have this, so let's stay consistent. And this is issue row. And then we can so let's do this. Okay, so now let's run Storybook. Then let me move this here. So we again have this icon, and then this is the error. I guess this is the first line of the stack trace, and the error level, and then some numbers here. This is coming from an API again, so messed up here. So let me quickly check prolog API, and then I guess issue. Let's see. Okay, yeah, you can see this is already quite a long list of issues. And this is basically the structure. Name message, okay. Then here's stack trace. We only need the first line. Actually, maybe, not sure. Let's pretty print this, and so we want to have an issue, and this issue looks like this. So this one here is coming from the project, actually. We can get the project via the project ID here. So for now, let's also just pass the whole project here. We can clean this up later, I guess. So the icon is based on the project.language. Okay. So we can actually copy paste something from the project card here. Language icon. Let's see. And you probably need this anyway, so let's import it. And then go back here again. And here we have the, okay, so it's basically like icons and then language. Maybe we should create a function to get this icon name, but yeah. it's now in 2 places, so it's not too bad. Do it like this, and then we call it like this, project language. We don't need the whole project here, and then we can actually add this to the props here. So project language. This is all strings, basically. And finally, this is, I guess, I guess we need something new. So we will need this folder anyways. Let's define the types here, issue, and then issue types.ts. So this is actually type issue export, and then we already have the project status here, so it's not the same, but pretty similar. Let's check. So stable, we have error, and then because we have warning and info. Let's check in the API. Level warning, yeah. And level info, okay. So info, warning is the same, and then error. Remove this, also info. And this is now issue level. And then level will be one of these. Okay, so this will now be issue. Actually, don't want to do this, but rather import it. Okay. And let's see. So I don't have the index file yet. Index.js export from, and let's see how I exported these types here. So the enums are exported this, and then we also need to use export type. So issue level, and then so I use the export type here because this will only be used as type, but issue level will also be used to access the enum values. So this is project language. So like this. Now let's see. So we have the icon rendered here. Now let's move on. So we have the error name and the message, I guess. Let's see, we define that in the props. So const. So error name, then message, and we have stack. So let's wrap a div around the we'll just quickly create a temporary markup here. And then we have the first line of the stack trace here. So div stack dot split, I guess. And then okay. So you can see here, you actually cannot see, I guess, but in the data, you can see that we have new lines here. So we basically just take the first line here. So I hope this works already. Actually, this is now the message, so check that string again here. So this is the message, this is the message repeated. Okay, that's good to know. And then we want the first line here. So we want to have one and then okay. This looks good. We probably need to wrap this into a div as well. Let's see. So actually what I wanted to do is this and then have a span here. Probably don't need that. Yeah, let's do this here as well. And yeah, this should be moved inside the div as well. Okay, and then we have the batch here. This is the, let's see. Div and then batch. Color, we already had something similar in the project card. Let's see how we did that there. Status colors, okay. Actually, I guess and then I guess we can use capitalize and level, I guess it's called. Level. Let's see. So issue level. Info and error, and then here we will use the batch color. So. Okay, this should now render the. Okay, let's see if I'd like to import this like this and also move it up here. So let's see. Import type, so I'd like to import the type only here. And then finally we have the events and the users here. So let's check again. Okay, we actually don't have this data yet. So there's something that the API needs to add. So this would be something like, let's define this here just to make it clear. Const num events equals 100. Yeah, and then num users. Okay. So we have number of events and the number of unique users. And so basically events and then like this, users. And I'd like to, this is probably aggregated data that is still missing from the API because like each issue is one error basically at a certain place in the code, and then of course there's like a user can run into this error multiple times, and each time the user runs into an error, this will be counted as one event. This is very handy, like Sentry or Rollbar. I guess they use this to actually show the urgency of an issue. If an issue only happens like to 1 in 1,000 users, it might not be a problem, but if it happens to like every second user, so you might want to fix it urgently. Let's add these quickly to the issue type. And I will have to add those later to the API. And now here, events. Okay, and should be issue level error. Okay, so now we should see the numbers again. Perfect. So this is like just a rough DOM structure or JSX structure here. We will, I guess I won't do that today, but rather tomorrow, implement the styles here. And yeah, then should be good to go. Yeah. So let me create a quick commit. Add So we can publish the branch just to make sure that we don't lose our data. So let's create a draft pull request. This is issue list. Create draft pull request. Okay, so we have a pull request now. Like if we had teammates, they would know that this is still a draft and shouldn't be reviewed at this moment. And once it's done, I can click the ready for review button, and then yeah, we're basically done. Okay, thanks for watching this.